Hey guys, this is Callie Butler, the Communication Specialist for WellStone, and thank you for watching another episode of Virtu-Well Connections. Today, I am just delighted to talk with two lovely ladies from a program that y'all may not be as familiar with compared to some of our other programs, and that is our Geriatrics division. So today, we're going to be having a conversation directly focused on the seniors in our communities and our lives. They're the most isolated during this time, so we just think it's going to be super beneficial and very important to just share as much advice with y'all as we can, tips to tell them, as well as things that we can do ourselves to help them get through this pandemic. So Melissa and Wendy, if y'all would go ahead and introduce yourselves, and we can roll right into it.
Okay, I'm Melissa. I'm the Geriatrics assistant manager and also a therapist in the program, and I work in the Shoals area. So we're kind of spread out, so I'm in the Shoals.
And I'm Wendy Weber. I'm a geriatric therapist here in Huntsville. Work in a nursing home, been here, I work for WellStone, but I'm in the nursing home about 40 hours a week and have been here for about a year and a half.
Awesome. And thank y'all so much again for being here today and taking time out of y'all's schedules. And I think it's going to be really important and beneficial for us to talk about these people in our lives that we can help through this whole pandemic. So just to get started before we get into the main discussion, would y'all mind giving just a brief overview of the program, as in just an introduction to let people know what the program entails?
Sure. So the geriatrics department is a group of about 24 positions made up of therapists and techs and one manager, one assistant manager. And what we do is provide contracted mental health in the nursing home. So we work directly with the nursing home staff to provide seamless care between the staff and the residents at the nursing home. And each different nursing home has a contract with us with WellStone. So we're spread out between Coleman, Huntsville, and the Shoals, both Florence and Muscle Shoals. So we're a pretty big department.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to be talking with y'all and just kind of briefly introducing the program and getting y'all's expertise about seniors and what we can do right now. So I know that y'all talked with your team a little bit beforehand to just collect the most accurate and comprehensive advice as possible. So what are the top 3 tips that y'all, as professional therapists, have for seniors?
So we kind of came up with the top 3 things being connection, needing connection for seniors, needing leisure activity, and also needing to socialize safely. So the reason for connection is that we feel this need to be engaged, right? And seniors are no different. We also need leisure activity. We need exercise. We need healthy diet. We need things to keep us kind of moving forward in this time, unprecedented time that we're all experiencing, and seniors especially, in a way that they're more isolated and more at risk than the rest of us. So helping them or encouraging them to stay engaged, stay active, and continuing to engage them by socializing safely, whether that's in the community or at the nursing home, doing our part to help encourage them.
And I think sometimes people go, okay, you want me to socialize, you want me to do all these things, how do I do it? And I was listening to someone earlier today, and it's something that I've done here in the nursing home, but I think it can be done in the community. You can do it through picking up the phone and calling, your loved one, or, whether you're calling grandma, your mom, whatever, is reminisce with them. Say, you know, hey mom, I remember you telling me a story, you know, about when you were a kid, or dad, tell me about when you went off to college, or whatever it is. Get them to tell you a story, and you'll find they'll get excited. They'll want to talk about it. Get them sharing, because not only is it an activity for them, it gets them excited. You know, anything that you can do, just even over the phone, where they feel like they are still contributing, whether, you know, they're making a gratitude list, a joy list, call grandma up and say, you know, little Timmy's stuck here and he's having to go to school online. I remember you talking about when you went through hardship as a young person. Could you talk to Timmy? That authentic connection and those opportunities to socialize while still feeling like they have a purpose.
Yeah. Oh, I love both of y'all's just advice on that. And Melissa, you said like moving forward, and then Wendy, you talked about just reminiscing. So in order to move forward and feeling like they're just impacting and being a positive influence in someone else's life to move forward, they need to bring
Go
that
back a little bit.
Yeah, I think that is so cool how it all.
Well, and you got to think our seniors just have this huge mind, this just all of these wonderful resources they've accumulated throughout their lifespan that we don't have because we've not gone through hardships like this before.
Exactly.
A lot to learn from them.
Yeah, and I think that this is a really good opportunity, if nothing else, to just really incorporate that communication with these folks. You know, maybe we don't call our grandparents or parents as much as we should. So just getting a glance inside their minds to make them feel wanted and valued is something very simple that we all can do. So regardless of age, this pandemic has impacted the way our mental stability, it's impacted emotional stability, and how we've reacted to certain things. So I'm curious to know, in what y'all have seen or what you've experienced, any behavioral complications for the people who have dementia and Alzheimer's.
So I have some notes on this one too, and Wendy, I know you do too. I know you do, just like I do. So yeah, I think just like with anyone, when our ability to cope goes down, you know, our symptomology goes up. So that's especially true for our seniors who have Alzheimer's and dementia, who are struggling in the nursing home because they're not being able to follow their regular routine. And then you think about seniors in the community not able to follow their regular routine. They can't go to church, you know, they can't go to the senior center. These things are impacting them in a way that they probably didn't expect, just like we didn't expect the pandemic to impact us in the way that it has. So yeah, we are seeing an increase in behaviors because of that. And by behaviors, we don't mean someone's personality. And Wendy, you can probably say more on that, but we're talking about symptomology like psychosis, or even behaviors related to anxiety or depression. So we're seeing that increase pretty regularly, and I imagine that the community is just the same, you know, from what we're seeing in the nursing home for seniors.
Well, I think part of it is you also have to look at, when we talk about seniors, there's a broad range of people, okay? And especially as we get to our the highest end of the elderly population, the oldest, many have been socialized not to talk about, they've got to be brave, they've got to be tough. And so they may be a little more grumpy. They may be a little more snippy with you. And it's because they're afraid. And sometimes it's important just to have those conversations with our seniors. You know, if you notice that they are getting irritated more easily, they are more withdrawn, they're not eating as much as they did before, ask the question, you know, hey mom, hey dad, grandma, granddad, if it's your neighbor, you know, whoever, what do you think about the pandemic? What do you think about all this COVID stuff? Find out if they're watching a lot of news. Find out if they're watching a lot of social media. I had talked to Melissa about this. We've had a problem in this nursing home before, right at the beginning, especially, where I was seeing heightened anxiety among a lot of the residents, and they were on Facebook. And they had CNN on 24 hours a day, and they were frightened, and there's so many conflicting reports. They didn't know what to believe. And so having those conversations, finding out what is making them a little more grumpy, a little more irritable, a little more down, and then you can go from there. They have, age is a number. We think, we feel, and they have a lot of the same concerns and a lot of the feelings we do. And even with some of our clients in the dementia unit, when I go back there, they have the same concerns. They're scared. They want to see their family. They want to get back in routine. And they just need to have those simple conversations.
Yeah. Most of them were raised to act tough and not really talk about everything that they're feeling. So I think just us reaching out and just becoming aware of their actions, what they're doing to stress them out even more than just the knowledge of what's happening, to if they're finding out either stuff that's exaggerated or any kind of facts, just for them to talk about that and let it be known and not just keep it in all the time. When we're trying to incorporate these assisted actions into our loved ones' lives, could y'all just elaborate just a little bit more on recognizing the ability levels of these seniors? Not everyone has the same resources available to them, as many resources, and some don't have as much physical capability. So just go into a little bit more detail on that.
That's a great point. I think physical ability is a big deal because if we're asking a senior in our life to, hey, why don't you get out and go for a walk every afternoon? They have arthritis or they're even wheelchair bound, our expectation might be a little off for what that ability is. But then especially someone who has maybe dementia on top of, like we're talking about the behaviors, we're going to see some cognitive differences. So, we hear a lot that, mom used to always be able to call me, and she would call and she would tell me how her day was, and she's just not calling anymore. Y'all not get, what's going on? So we think about, there's a lot of different reasons that mom might not be able to make that phone call. Maybe it's physical, related to arthritis. Maybe it's, mental or more cognitive because she can't remember the number, so we need to take that into account when we're trying to encourage someone to do things that will help them relieve stress, right? We don't want to cause stress by asking someone to do something that they're not capable of doing. So I think that's really important too, is that we want to use common sense with what our expectation is of the senior and what their expectation is of themselves. Maybe we need them to lead the way in what we encourage them to do as far as these tips go, even, because we don't want to set someone up for failure.
Well, and I think too, and I'm going to speak for myself, when I'm stressed, I don't perform as well at anything as I do when I'm calm and relaxed. This is a stressful time. So people without dementia, without Alzheimer's, without Parkinson's, without anything, they're struggling, okay? But then when you have something like dementia and Alzheimer's, you can at times see where they're not functioning as well as they were before. And, monitor it. Maybe their dementia or Alzheimer's is getting worse, or maybe it is just a symptom of stress. So being aware of those things. And I think, like Melissa said, you can't always expect them to function at the level. Maybe today they can walk really well, the next day not so much. And then, so it's not just the disease, it is the disease plus the stress. And I think we have to be mindful of that at all times. And every person with dementia too, you can pick up something and it'll say, here's the symptoms of dementia or Alzheimer's, but that might be how it presents with your loved one. So, you have to take each person day by day.
Yeah. Could not agree more with that, Wendy.
You've seen one person with dementia, you've seen one person with dementia.
That's right.
So as one last push, what can we as individuals, as a part of greater of overall society, what can we do to help right now?
I think Wendy found a great article on this, and it had some of the points that I would like to make too on there. But part I think is just the accountability piece. They are our most at risk, most fragile population right now with COVID, with this pandemic, and so with that comes a great responsibility to show up, right? I think sometimes people feel like, oh, well, especially if it's like brothers or sisters or you have a big family, someone else can do it, right? Someone else can drop off dad's medicine, or someone else can get the groceries. I think reaching out and making a point to be accountable, I think that's where we all have to kind of start. The bystander effect, if you haven't heard of that, you should definitely look it up. It's a real issue in social psychology where people don't tend to feel accountable, and if we can find a way to integrate being helpful into our daily lives or weekly lives or monthly lives, then it's really a wonderful time to do that, because seniors really need our help right now more than they ever have. So to me, that's where we start, is with accountability. Then the next part is, if you can, drop off groceries, make phone calls, do video chats, visit social distanced outside, provide PPE for your loved one, for the nursing home, perhaps, if somebody's low, and constantly encourage them, again, within the context of what they're able to do. We've seen a lot of families visiting through the windows, and I really love this, because I've for myself seen the before and after of what a visit can do for someone. So just showing up and letting them see your smiling face is a big deal. And then lastly, I would say, if you don't have a senior in your life or in the nursing home, you can always donate supplies. You can always find out what your local nursing home needs, whether that's books, videos, snacks, toiletries, anything like that. We've had some churches send cards to our folks and encourage them, just say, we love you, or even had children, like a group of children from schools or whatnot, send cards to the nursing home too. And they make a difference. So anything like that is appreciated. And if you're not sure, you can always reach out to local senior center, nursing home, anything like that.
Well, and I want to make one point that was kind of one of my first points that I didn't mention, but it ties in here too. Look out for the caregivers.
Yes.
If you have a neighbor, if you have a friend, someone that you go to church with, work with, and they are providing for a senior during all of this, they're tired. They need, and seniors, just like everyone else, if the caregiver comes in and the caregiver is tired and frustrated and exhausted and worn out and irritable, how's that going to make the senior feel? How is that going to make the person that they're providing care for feel? So if you have a friend that's is a caregiver that's taking care of that family member, ask how you can help. Can you take a shift? Can you babysit their kids so that they can go out? Because, we're seeing a lot of people that are having to care for, their parents and their children, and they're stuck in between and trying to work sometimes. So, just thinking about the people in your community and looking for different ways to help.
Yeah, I think is if we as a society can just have a little bit more empathy and compassion for the struggles that we don't deal with every day. I think that these tips are very easy to do, especially if we have a senior in our family or just someone that we care about a lot. And then like you were saying, Melissa, if you don't have someone in your life, then just simply like donating items, or the cards with from the kids and other people are so sweet. I'm sure y'all can see like just the before and after, like y'all were talking about, and that means so much to anybody. So I'm sure just the seniors really appreciate that, and I would love to see just like the after effect that has. So
I had one other thought on that. So I heard someone say this, I don't know where I remember it from, but they were talking about, if you can't do anything else for the seniors, for that population right now, what you can do is take care of yourself. And that bounces back to what Wendy was saying, that, caretakers and just the general population, by doing the things that we know to help with this pandemic, we can help our seniors. So being mindful of that is that having that positive impact in your life has a trickle effect into their lives.
Yeah, stay healthy, wear your mask.
yeah.
Do things you need to in public to take care of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have loved this talk. So is there anything else that y'all would like to add?
I think just encouraging people to stay mindful that our seniors are struggling with mental health, just like our children are, just like the adult population is. They are no different, and they need the same resources and support that everyone else does. It might look different. The delivery might be a lot different, but it's still needed. So I think just a reminder that they're more alike than they are different from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are people.
Yeah, we're all just people. and
We're all just people. Some of us are really tiny and some of us are much older, but we all need love. We all need connection. We all need friendship. And we all have fears and anxieties.
Yeah.
And hopes and dreams.
Right, and it's never too late to achieve those. Well, thank y'all so much again for chatting with me today. I know that I found this super beneficial and found things that I can incorporate into my everyday life, and I'm sure that our viewers are going to feel the same way about it. So I think that's all we have for today. So thank y'all so much for following along with this series, and I hope y'all have a great rest of the day. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.